Welcome to the MBU Football Coaches Show. My name is Guy Danoff, and I'm joined with our head coach, Coach B. Coach, it's safe to say that last Saturday was a very good day for the Spartans.
Yeah, it was a great day. We played really well. Was really proud of the guys. Came out with a 42-7 win over Clark, and so that was not the biggest margin of victory that we've ever had, but it was one of the best games that we've played in several years, and was excited for all the guys.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, we talked about this on the post-game show you and I did. It seemed to me that the Spartans came right out of the gate carrying that momentum from the second half from the previous game. And so talk a little bit about that, because it felt like right away you were carrying that momentum and you got off to an early start and an early lead in this game, and the Spartans really never looked back.
Yeah, that was a big point of emphasis for us as we came out of week one, is just talking to the guys about we've got to start fast. We've got to,
Right.
We can't come out with nerves. Obviously, week one, there's a certain amount of nerves, I think, that plagued us a little bit. But ultimately, just, enjoying it, trusting it. And we do things in practice by design to get them moving faster and get them into like a game situation faster, even practice. We do it every single day. So we just kind of reiterated, hey, these are why we do these things,
right,
so that we can come out and start faster than what we did the week before. And we were able to do that. Obviously, you want to do that every game. It's not always easy, but
right,
was really proud of how those guys did, getting the ball. And that was the other thing that we talked about in our coaches meeting the morning of the game is to maybe light that fire a little bit. Where did we want the offense to have the ball? And we decided in that meeting that we were going to take the ball either which way. Of course, they won the toss and deferred, so we knew we were getting the ball to start. And I thought the offense put a great drive together and finished it with a touchdown, and then defense played great all day.
Well, let's speak about the defense, because I know you're not being on the overall stats, but this one I know you are, because I hear you talking to your players all the time about this stat. Here it is. Their turnovers. Yeah. The Spartans got 4, and the Spartans protected the ball with a big goose egg. Coach, congratulations. You're all, if you're winning that turnover battle, as you say to your players, you're most likely going to win the game. So speak to how in the world all of a sudden you guys get 4 turnovers, but at the same time protect the ball.
Well, I think the ball security goes straight to the offense, and not just the guys, the receivers and running backs, but also to Jordan. I thought Jordan did a great job of making smart decisions.
Yep.
There were times that he had guys open that he didn't hit that would have been big plays, but where the iPad and the sideline replay comes in,
right,
he's able to go and look at that and say, okay, this is what they're doing. This guy was open, and when we came back to that play in the later drive, he hit it for a big play.
Yep.
So that's where that's really starting to show up for us, and I think what Jordan is doing phenomenal is just managing the game.
Absolutely.
He connected on a 4th and 2 for 70 that we were just trying to get a 5 yards,
right,
and it turns into a touchdown. But defensively, going back to, I think I said on the post-game show, is
yep,
we made it a priority that we needed more turnovers. We didn't have enough turnovers last year.
Right.
So, we have a goal every single day in practice of getting 2 turnovers every day. And they've done a pretty good job at that. And then this past week, we knew that there were some ball security issues. We're tackling a little bit different so that we can punch at the ball more and try and create more turnovers. And then, of course, the secondary came up with 2 really big ones as well. So, that's what we got to do. Ultimately, the 7 points came off of a kickoff return for a touchdown. Right. That never usually goes in your favor that often. However,
right,
when you cover that with 4 turnovers and you don't turn the ball over, it makes up for that pretty fast.
Absolutely. So I want to speak to one other really interesting aspect stat. Your defense now has gone 6 consecutive quarters without giving up a score.
Yeah.
And what have you talked to your team about that?
Well, I mean, I'm obviously very proud of them. We ultimately we're just out there doing our job. And what I've been preaching to them is that when we do our job, we're a pretty gosh darn good defense. And when we don't, we're not.
Right.
When we don't do our job, they scored on big plays in week 1.
Right.
When we settled down and did our job and guys that lined up right. And really what we're just trying to do is keep things simple for them.
Right.
Eliminate as much thinking, let them play with calls that they're really comfortable in, base calls that
right,
we've had in, and not try to do too much. And I think that they're doing a really good job of executing it. And like I said, we've got really good players. So
Yep.
when they go out and they execute those base calls at a high level, not everything is going to work for every team, but I feel like we have enough that we can keep them off balance, and I thought they've done a good job at that.
They absolutely did. So I want to talk about technology. Some of our Spartan fans still may not be aware. We actually have instant replay in the Heart, and it proved to be very beneficial because Kevin and I were on the broadcast, and we didn't see what happened on. It was a punt. They were punting, and they ended up scoring a touchdown on it. And we all thought it was a touchdown, and we didn't see something. You immediately went to the official. You immediately asked for them to review it. And even though it took quite a long time for that to happen, but still, it shows how the technology is working and the integrity of the game because they got the call right. Why don't you set up the play of what you saw? Because obviously, most of us had no idea of why that ball carrier was down.
Yeah, so they were in a little bit of desperation, just trying to get some momentum.
Right.
I don't remember exactly the score at the time. I think it might have been 35-7 or maybe 28-7 at the time. And they ran a fake punt on us and caught us off guard a little bit, threw a pass. We had two guys that looked like they were going to make the play. They missed the play. He catches it, and then the rest is history. He ends up in the end zone. Well, what we had seen, and especially I give a lot of credit to the coaches up in the upstairs, what they were saying immediately was that the punter was down because of the low snap. He went down, put his knee on the ground as he was fielding the ball, and then stood up and threw the ball. So obviously he's down by, having the knee down on the snap, and so we opted to challenge it. It ended up going in our favor, and then so instead of them having a touchdown, it was then it was our ball then at the spot where he was down, which was 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So it ended up being a big play for us, and I think we took advantage and ended up scoring on that drive.
Well, you did, because in that same drive, they had two 15-yard penalties for unsportsmanlike contact. I mean, they just completely came unglued for a period of time. Because that was a big moment. It was 28. In other words, it would have cut the game in half.
Right.
So that was actually a very important call. The fact is, you guys saw it. You made the decision. And it took, I think, 6 or 7 minutes of actual time for them to figure it out. But they got the right call. You took advantage of it. They were certainly getting, with all these, big-time penalties in that drive. And, of course, that's where you guys then went up to the 35.
Yeah.
But talk about a momentum shifter. But, Coach, what just you guys being so on top of it and knowing that we have replay, and that was a great example of what an impact they can have on a game.
Yeah, and I think the challenge is to use that wisely, and you get one challenge a game. If you win the challenge, you get a second one, but no more than two.
Okay.
If you lose it, you lose a timeout, and you're done challenging for the rest of the game. So it's you gotta think about when you're going to use it, and obviously that was a big momentum swing. We learned this past week that we could have challenged a potential targeting call earlier in the game.
Yeah.
At the time, the officials said that we couldn't. It ended up working in our favor because we probably would have lost that challenge.
Right. And then not have one.
Then not had one. So, it's all kind of part of that learning process, but really kind of just holding that in our back pocket as long as possible and doing it on something that we feel is really is a sure thing is really important.
Absolutely. So let's move forward. The Spartans are now 1-1. You're taking on Culver-Stockton. They're 0-2 so far. And what's really interesting is Culver-Stockton, they ended up winning in that infamous overtime 33-30 game. They blocked our field goal, and then they ended up winning on a field goal. I know it was a heartbreaking loss. It was heartbreaking just to watch from our perspective. But nevertheless, Culver-Stockton comes in. They're a pass-heavy offense. Ironically, you both are about the same in total offense, around 330 yards, except of theirs, 207 is passing yards. So you know they're going to pass. Mm-hmm. But to your credit, Coach, I think it's the first time I can say this, you're almost dead even in rushing yards as well as passing yards. So you want to kind of speak to that, because it's really interesting how we're so balanced these days. And what Culver-Stockton's do is they have a big passing game.
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal is to be balanced. We want to be balanced, keep teams off guard, and I think they're doing a good job at it. Culver's got some real talent on offense. They've got several wide receivers who are really good, and their quarterback is a big guy. He's a transfer. He throws a good ball, and we've got to be able to win at the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be a key for us. Is they're really big up front,
right,
and our defensive line is going to have to win. We're not as big, but I think we've got the speed to go do that.
Okay, well, you're going to take them on this Saturday at 1 o'clock. It's going to be your third consecutive home game. That's got to feel good to you.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And just one last thing. What's it been like? Because since mayhem has emerged, I got to tell you, the atmosphere on Spartan game days is electrifying. It's fun. I'm having the best time of my life right now.
No, I think not just them, but just everybody, all the fans that have come out and supported. It is a different atmosphere. We got a bunch of people tailgating. It feels like Spartan football.
Yeah.
We're doing things. Jeff and his people at the athletic department are doing things at a little bit higher level and making some changes. It's been a lot of fun, and just appreciate all the support from everybody, students and fans.
All right, come out early, Spartan fans. They have amazing tailgate. I can tell you the food is really good. I'll be actually posting some food probably this Saturday morning. It's an awesome atmosphere. Then you can see Spartan football right here live on Spartan Field, or you can catch us on the Spartan Digital Network. For Coach B, I'm Guy Danoff. We want to thank you for watching it all right here on the Spartan Digital Network.